All right, in this video, we're going to talk about the main menu. So before we can kind of dive in and cover the main menu of Photoshop, what we need to do is set up a file, a starter file, so that we can activate most of the menus that are available inside of the main menu. And when I say activate, I mean create the ability for those menus to work. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to New File, and we're going to create a web large file, and we'll call this Starter Project. Okay, and so it's just going to be a blank document. I'm going to go to File, Save As, and we're going to save this to the desktop. I'm going to call it Starter Project.psd. We'll hit Save. I'll hit OK. I'm going to change the background color to black, just so it's a little easier on the eyes to look at it, because when it's white, it's real bright, and you're like, man, this is really good contrast with the gray background with the black, with the white background, Okay, so in this video, we're going to focus on the main menu. So what is the main menu? That's the first question, right? That's the main question of the main menu video, right? So here's the main menu. We have File, Edit, Image, Layer, Type, Select, Filter, 3D, View, Plugins, Window, and Help. And so each one of these menus is important to understand the basics of what they do. And you ask, well, can I just go through that myself and do that? In theory, yes, you can. But what I'm going to do is give you kind of a quick explanation of what each menu does. Okay, so the file menu, what does that do? The edit menu, the image menu, etc. Okay, so it's important to understand what each one of these menus do, or call them submenus, does, because it provides a function for this application. Okay, so for example, let's talk about the file menu first. So when I click on File, we have a bunch of options here. We can create a new document, we can open a document, we can browse and bridge, we can open as a smart object, we can open recent projects, close this project, close all, close others, that's not available because we don't have any other files open, close and go to bridge. What that's going to do, so bridge kind of works as a bridge, literally, pun intended. It allows you to have like a file manager for all of your Adobe files. That's what Adobe Bridge is. We can save this file. So if I make a change to this, so let's say I select a different tool and I grab the marquee tool and I draw something, okay? And then I give it a color. I'm going to add a layer here real quick. And we're going to make this, I'm going to deselect that. But the point of what I just did there was to create a save point. So you see this star. Whenever there's a star, that means that you need to save the file, okay? And we've reached a point where we haven't saved the file, and so if I close this, it's not going to save layer 2. Okay, so now when I go to File, I've activated the save option because I've done something that the program sees, or the application sees, and says, wait a minute, you need to save this. So I'm going to save this. You can also do the Command S or Control S on the PC to save. Okay, so let's talk about Save As. If I click on Save As, it'll allow me to change the name if I want to. We can also save a copy, and then you would just hit Save here. I can also do Save a copy, okay, and then I'll make a copy of it. I can revert back. So for example, if I go and I grab this rectangle tool, okay, and let's say I want to revert back, okay, give it a second. Okay, it's going to go back a step. It's like undoing. So revert just means go back one step, okay? So that's all that is. Now I can't do anything because I haven't added another step. Invite to edit. So in theory, I could invite you to edit this file if I had your email address. So if I click on invite to edit, I can type in, I can click continue, and then I can type in, I can save this file to the cloud, and then, one second here, I can send you an invite. So you'll notice my email's on there, and I can copy a link, and anybody with this link can access this document, okay? So I'm going to close that because I don't want to give you the link. I don't want people editing this file right now, but it is a cloud file at the moment, okay? So I'm going to go to File, Open, and I'm going to open the local document so that it doesn't get messed with. So let me open that up, okay, and then I'm going to close this one. And we'll continue on now. We're going to talk about, so invite to edit, share for review. That's a command that's been added where you can share the file for review. So let's say you have a supervisor you're working with and you're working remotely. You can create a link and send it to your supervisor to review the project. Okay, that's an example. And it's an awesome, awesome feature because remote work with Photoshop is something that should have been available a long time ago, but the tech was not there, but now it's caught up. Okay, so it's exciting for sure. Okay. Export, so we can export as a PNG, export as, export for web, artboards to files, PDF, etc. So these are just a bunch of options to export to different file types, generate image assets, search Adobe stock, search Adobe Express templates, place embedded, place linked, automate. So this will allow you to batch automate, so you can grab a whole bunch of stuff and automate kind of the things that you're doing there. We have scripts, we have import from iPhone or iPad. We can look at the file version, the version history. We can print, and then we can print one copy. So that is in a nutshell, is the file menu. Okay. Now again, I'm rushing through, but I want to keep this condensed. I don't want to be talking for 2 hours. So I'm only going to spend a couple minutes on each menu so that we get this done in a short amount of time, okay? So then we have the edit menu. So with this, if I do a command, I can undo. So for example, if I do a action, so let's grab the rectangle tool again and just make a rectangle. If I go to the edit menu, I can undo the rectangle. I can also redo the rectangle tool, and I can toggle last state. So I can go back again. Okay, so those 3 commands we learned how to do right away. I can copy, so if I redo this, I can copy this, I can cut it, and I can paste it. And now it's been flipped, okay? By just doing a couple different things, we created kind of a cool effect without doing much. Okay, then we can clear. So if I paste this, I can clear it, and now it's something else. Now if I hit Command Z, I can keep going Command Z until it goes back to the state that I want it to be in. I can hit V to go to the selection tool or the move tool. Okay, I'm going to hit Command S to save this, and then I'm going to hide this layer and save again, and then we'll look at search, check spelling, and find and replace text. So this is for documents, PSD files with text. Fill and stroke is for this rectangle tool. So I'm going to open up another layer. So if I do Command Shift N, Control Shift N on the PC, that's a keyboard shortcut for a new layer. And I can draw this, and then I can go to Edit. Fill and stroke is going to be right here. So we have fill and we have stroke. So I can adjust that, and we can change it to something else. So let's say I want to adjust this color a little bit. I can save that. Okay, and then we have puppet warp, free transform, transform. So there's some effects here, but let's start from down here. So start dictation, that's just for text, which we don't have. Toolbar, menus, and keyboard shortcuts. This is for shortcuts, which I'm going to cover in a different video. We can convert to profile, assign profile and color settings, Okay, remote connections, presets, so we can look at the manager, migrate presets and export import, and Adobe PDF presets. We can purge the clipboard histories and all, and the video cache, define pattern, and define brush preset. Okay, so my favorite tool is transform. So you can scale, you can skew, you can rotate, you can distort, you can do perspective, you can warp, you can rotate 180, 90 degrees clockwise, 90 degrees counterclockwise, flip horizontal, and flip vertical. Okay, so that's the edit menu. Again, this is kind of a quick rundown of all these options, but it's to the point. So image, we can adjust the mode. So you have grayscale, you have index color, you have RGB, you have CMYK. RGB and CMYK are your standard modes, but you can also use the other ones. Adjustments, if I had a image, well, let's just do this. I'll grab this layer here, and then we'll go here and we'll make some adjustments. So I can do brightness and contrast. Okay. I can also do, and it's not going to do much because, let's do hue and saturation. Let's colorize it, and I will make this kind of a different color. Let's go this way, and see, I can really mess with the colors based on that. And so one of the cool things about doing, working in the audiovisual business is you use RGB all the time. And so when I would do LED lights, we would run the RGB codes, which is 0 to 255. So that's for red, that's for green, that's for blue. So that's, you'll notice, same thing here. Now it's a little bit different, but it's the same idea. So if I go to the swatch here, you'll notice RGB. So we have 255, 255, 255. But if I adjust this and we go, let's say, to purple, which is one of my favorite colors, we have 66, 9, and 102. That's the RGB code. Okay, so we can keep that, and that's kind of a cool looking color. So that's the edit, that's the image menu. You can do auto tone, auto contrast, auto color. You want to use these for an actual image. So if you have a picture of someone or a picture of a landscape or something like that, you would want to use auto tone, auto contrast, and auto color. Image size, you can just adjust the image size. Canvas size, you can adjust the canvas or the document size. Image rotation, this is just 180, 180 degrees, 90 degrees clockwise, counterclockwise, arbitrary. Flip canvas, horizontal and vertical. You don't really want to mess with this too much. You can do this when you set up your document. Then we have trim, reveal all, duplicate, apply image calculations, and much more on image. So that's really it for image. Then we have layer. This is a very important menu because it also integrates with the menu panel. So the menu panel pretty much has the same options as the layers menu. Okay, they're pretty much the same. So you can create a new layer, background from layer, group from layer, artboard from layer, frame from layer, convert to frame, layer via copy, layer via cut. Okay, we can copy CSS, we can copy SVG, we can duplicate a layer, we can delete the layer, hidden layers. Okay, quick export as PNG. So any layer you have, you can do a quick export as a PNG. You can export as. So you grab a layer and then you can select the format. So GIF, JPEG, or PNG. Okay, right from your layer. And you're just grabbing that one layer to do that. Okay. Then we have, you can rename the layer or just double click on it to rename it. Okay. Either way works. Layer style, so you can adjust the styles. They also have that over here. Okay. New fill layer, solid color, gradient or pattern, adjustment layers. So this is where you can adjust everything in the layer itself, and you can also do that here. Okay. So everything that you can find in the layer menu here, you can find in the layer panel. Okay. There may be some things that are missing or are excluded, but for the most part, you can. You can add a layer mask, a vector mask, mask all objects. Okay. Smart objects, video layers, rasterize, new layer based slice, group layers, hide layers, ungroup layers, etc. Okay, merge layers. So you merge two layers together. Merge visible, which merges the two layers together and one is visible, right? Or flatten the image. All these are merge options. Okay. Defringe, remove black matte, remove white matte. So if you have any of those in here, it'll remove those colors. Okay. So that is File, Edit, Image, and Layer. Now we're going to talk about type. This one's kind of quick. This is just the type tool. So more from Adobe Fonts, Panels, Match Font Preview, Font Preview Size, okay. Select, so we can select all. We can deselect, we can reselect, inverse, okay. We can do all layers, deselect layers, find layers, isolate. This is just a select, bunch of select options, okay. Then filter, same thing. This is just a way to add effects to your content. So with a boring background like this, it's kind of a fun thing to do, like the clouds. That's one of my favorite filters. So we'll leave that, we'll save that, I'm gonna save that. And I'm gonna hide rectangle 2, just so we have the clouds, okay? And I'll let you play more with this if you want. So go ahead and kind of experiment with it and just check out the different filters, okay? Then we have 3D. So 3D, there's some options here, but it's pretty limited. A lot of things are deactivated because we don't have 3D objects, so that's kind of a graze over. And then we have the view. So we have proof setup, we have proof colors, gamut warning, pixel aspect ratio, zoom in, zoom out, fit on screen, fit layers on screen, fit artboard on screen, and then 1%, 100%, print screen, actual size, and screen mode. So I'll show you a quick shortcut. So for screen mode, if you hit the letter F on the Mac and the PC, this will take you to full screen mode. So hit F, it'll bring back your panels and your tools. Hit F again, it'll get rid of your toolbar on the top. Okay, it'll shrink it down. And then if you hit Tab, that will get rid of your panels. So your tools and everything on the right and left side. And if I hit F, it'll get rid of the top toolbar as well. Okay, so that's kind of an important thing to understand. It's a cool thing to use. And then you don't have to go here and click on it. Okay, and if you click on the letter Z and just click in, you'll zoom in. If you hold Option on the Mac, Alt on the PC, you can zoom out, okay? And then hit the letter V to get back to the selection tool. I'll save that, and then let's go to the next one, which is going to be plugins. So plugins panel, you can browse plugins and manage plugins right here inside of Photoshop. It'll take you to an external site, which we'll do a deeper dive into that later. Then we have window. So with this, we're going to be talking about this in another video. So I'm not going to go too deep into it, but we're going to cover workspace, I should say workspaces, and we're also going to talk about all these panels here. So we'll cover that in 2 different videos, okay? Because this is a little bit of a deeper dive, and I don't want this to go longer than it needs to. You know, I want to keep these condensed so I can keep you engaged and interested in what we're doing. So then we have the help menu, okay? So we have Photoshop, help, hands-on tutorials, what's new, system info, GPU compatibility, manage my account, sign out, and updates. So that, my friends, is the main menu. And before I go, I'll talk about one more thing. We also have the Photoshop menu on Mac. Now on Windows, it's going to be a different interface, okay? And it's going to connect with settings, okay, or preferences. I call it preferences, but they changed the name. So now it's settings, okay? So we'll also talk about settings in another video so you can learn more about all of the settings that are available to you in Photoshop. So thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.